Oscar De La Hoya says he would love to make Jaime Munguia versus Jamal Charlo now that he's finalized this Tank Davis-Ryan Garcia fight with PBC. He thinks this maybe has opened the door to doing fights with that side of the street, right? Although with Tank Davis, isn't he a free agent? Or he's certainly free from Mayweather Promotions. Maybe he's still got some association with PBC. I'm not sure. Anyway, De La Hoya feels like he's riding the crest of a wave, so he'd like to make Munguia against Charlo. I'd love to see Munguia against Charlo, but where on earth is Jamal Charlo? This guy's literally disappeared off the face of the earth. He hasn't fought for nearly 2 years. Let's have a look at his BoxRec page over here. Last time he was in action was against Juan Montiel back in 2021, in June of that year. This guy has dropped off the map, and why are the WBC allowing him to keep hold of their belt for this long without fighting? What's that all about? And it's not the first time the WBC have done this. They've got form when it comes to allowing fighters to be inactive and hold belts hostage. Vitaly Klitschko years ago was very inactive towards the end of his career, and the WBC let him hold on to that belt forever. It was ridiculous. We were all thinking like, hang on, this belt has to become vacant at some point. Eventually it did, and Chris Arreola fought Berman Stavern for that vacant WBC strap. But yeah, the WBC have been doing this for a long time. They allow their champions to be very inactive. Not all of them, but certain WBC champions seem to get this favorable treatment where they can just hold on to the belt forever without fighting. And Jamal Charlo appears to be on that list. But as far as I'm concerned, he needs to be stripped to the belt if he's not going to fight. This is really typical of PBC. How many of their fighters are inactive? Loads of them. And I'm talking about marquee names. Some of their biggest names are terribly inactive. So I don't know what kind of deal these guys have with Al Heyman. You know, what good things he might do for them. How much he might sweet talk them in their ear. Look at the way your careers are turning out. How inactive you are. And yeah, he might pay you a lot when you do step in the ring, in many instances. But when you factor in all the inactivity, that doesn't add up in terms of finances, does it? If you were with someone who paid you slightly less, but had you fighting 3 times a year, you make more money overall than without Heyman when you fight once a year or once every 2 years. I mean, come on. So, yeah, Charlo, and he's spoken, by the way, in the past, that I'm not sure if it was Jamel or Jamal, about being a free agent and being their own boss and all this stuff. Probably a load of rubbish, right? But if that is true, seriously, these Charlo guys, and I know they get caught up in the whole tribalism and, you know, black fighters stay with PBC. They're in that whole mindset. They need to get out of that mindset if they want to make some real money and actually have a good legacy. Yeah, particularly Jamal. Get out of that mindset. Leave Al Heyman at this stage. You need to get out of PBC and Al Heyman in the middleweight division. Go sign with somebody else where you're actually going to get active and you're actually going to be involved in meaningful fights. Yeah? Jamal Charlo is wasting his career away with all this nonsense. So that's my take on it. WBC need to strip this guy if he's not going to fight. Keep that belt active. There are lots of fighters out there who would jump at the chance to be WBC middleweight champion. Give them the opportunity. Yeah? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And oh yeah, as far as, before I leave, as far as Jamal Charlo versus Munguia, I always felt as though Charlo would win that fight. But with all the inactivity and Munguia being much more active, I give Munguia a much better chance now. Yeah? Give me your assessment. Are you sick and tired of the mainstream mindset? Does the dogmatic conformity and pathological ignorance have you tearing your hair out in frustration? Then don't be alone. Come and join our brotherhood on Patreon. We stand as a beacon of reason against an army of insanity. You'll gain access to my weekly topical podcast where we take more deep dives than Jacques Cousteau on an endless variety of subjects. There's also videos, interviews, live Q&As, as well as a vast back catalogue of previous episodes, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen via the Patreon app or download in high-quality MP3. Connect with myself and hundreds of other members in our Element chat group. There's no contract, no commitment, you can cancel at any time, and it's cheaper than a Mickey D's McMuffin. Just head to my Patreon page via the link below this video and select the tier called the Brotherhood of Reason. I'll see you over there.